Hello there, running-ears. It's Manny again. And we don't have a lot of news coming up. We do have a little bit of news coming up. But of course, right now we're in season. So even with not a lot of news, you should be training. So if you guys are doing your training, magical luck. I hope you're doing well on your training. We're going to go over some topics just because it's a little bit slow right now. It's one of the topics that is near and dear to me, and I'm wearing the shirt, so this should give you a hint, and of course so should the title of the video. But before we do, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, guys. You guys are awesome. Subscriptions are going up, and remember, this is your channel, so guys, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Keep asking your questions. To me, that's the most important part. Keep interacting. I love interacting with you guys. If you have a specific question, a lot of you have actually found me on social media, Manny Runs Disney, and please message me directly. I will be glad to answer any questions that I can. And thank you guys for being you, and let's get right to it. So the first bit is basically just some information. So we have registration that is open for the next virtual series, or the Love is on the Run virtual series, which is not until February. So let's take a look at that. So from the runDisney.com sheet, you just do the click down events, go to the virtual events, and Love on the Run 14 miler 2025. So that's going to be in February. It's a 14-mile challenge. You can start seeing some of the medals that they're going to give you. They look pretty cool. And then as we scroll down, these are the highlights right here. So Love on the Run 14 miler highlights. The one I do like, you got the blanket and you get a magnet. And here it is, 2 miler, 5 miler, and 7 miler. So they're going to be a little bit different. And of course, they're going to give you one medal for each run, and then a fourth one for doing it, for doing the challenge, and you got a charity too. So those of you who enjoy doing the virtual runs, if you notice the pattern here, the 12Ks of Christmas is coming up. That is winter. Then in the spring, they just added the Love on the Run runs, and then of course you have your summer series. I do believe they will add a fall series coming up and probably next year, for sure in the next couple of years, but that way they'll have 4 of them and they will be seasonal. So for those of you who run virtual, you guys are not going to be left behind, because I know they dropped the virtual runs for the regular Disney runs. So this might be something that keeps you guys motivated, just a way of just keeping in shape, doing something and experiencing Disney. I love hearing the stories and watching the videos when you guys go out there and you run at Disney and you make it part of the run. I think that's great. But without further ado, let's move on. And another quick bit of news is that this just dropped. We got the email that proof of time for Springtime Surprise is due October 1st. So make sure that if you want to start in an earlier corral, you make sure that you get that in before October 1st. No excuses if you do it afterward. But remember this, if you don't, you're going to start in the back with me. So right now, we look at all the runs that Disney has coming up, starting with Wine and Dine, moving on forward, all the way to Springtime Surprise. If you look at any of the openings, the only ones that are open are Springtime Surprise. Let's take a look at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Events, go to Walt Disney World, and we're going to click on Springtime Surprise. As we scroll down, we are going to notice quite a few things still open, including Yoga, the 10 miler, the Challenge, and the Splash. So we can go over again why Springtime Surprise is taking a while to sell out. They will sell out. It's just a matter of time. I don't think the Splash will. I'm pretty sure the Yoga will. The 10 miler and the Challenge will sell out. But we're going to go back to the topic of how you can get in races that are sold out, starting with Wine and Dine. Well, there's basically 2 ways of doing that, because again, remember, you cannot transfer any of these bibs. So once you bought them, you bought them. So if you have an emergency, something comes up, contact Run Disney themselves and they can answer the questions. But now let's get to the 2 ways that you can actually get into the runs and actually legitimately get into the runs. So the first one is through Telegram and X, so you can sign up for notifications when you go on there. I do know that you got to put on there Run Disney alerts. Some of them will be specific, some of them will be for all general. So for example, on Telegram, if you look, there's going to be one for all Run Disney events, but then there's going to be one that says Run Disney Princess alerts, another one that says Run Disney Marathon Weekend alerts, so forth and so on. So if you're looking for a specific race, I would still recommend that you sign up for both of them. It's going to alert you. So I'm not very experienced with X. I am a little bit more experienced with Telegram. The Telegram, I believe, is set up by the people that run the Facebook page, the team #runDisney. They do a really good job. And so don't blame them. It's an alert that comes out pretty quickly. And people say, well, I put in all my information, and then all of a sudden I click to buy, and it says it's sold out. That's going to happen because there's usually going to be one, maybe two that are opening at the same time. So this is what I suggest that you do. So after a couple of them open up, there might be a couple of more. What I've noticed is there's patterns. This doesn't happen all the time, but what I would do if I were you and you really wanted to get into the run and it just opened up, you barely missed it. For the next 10, maybe 15 minutes, keep refreshing. It might pop up, and if you pop up, you're first in line. So there's a good chance you can get in, or a better chance than when all the people get the alerts, because the alert will happen a few seconds afterward and you're already in. So guys, that's what I would really recommend if you really want to get on there. But again, just go to Telegram or X and just put in runDisney alerts. Just sign up for those free dings, and they'll ding you, and they might ding you all day long. And hopefully you get in. Now, the other way to get in is through charities. So charities are near and dear to me. I started with them a little over a year ago. Because of this channel, I decided I need to experience everything before I talk about it. So I did reach out to every charity that I could. I wanted to talk to them directly. So the first one that really really answered my call was Race for the Duchan's, the Parent Project MD. So they actually allowed me to call them. I was able to ask them the questions that got answered. That was great. That was awesome. So now I'm able to share that information with you guys. So before I get to my experiences, I'm going to give you some tips. So before you do anything, what I recommend is educate yourself on runDisney first. So just like you're registering, especially if it's your first time registering, it's going to be the same rules of registration. So you're going to go there and you're going to look. You're going to be the 16-minute per mile pace, so forth. The starting, corrals, you got to be on time, so forth and so on. And make sure that you familiarize yourself with that. So that means that you're ready to go if you get in and you decide to go through a charity. Now, the charities themselves are going to have some rules. There's going to be one that's kind of weird, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. But before I do talk about those, make sure that you familiarize yourself with how the charity runs. So charities, even though there'll be 100 of them, and we're going to take a look at those in a little bit, they all run differently. So before we go any further, let's take a look at how you can find charities. So we're going back to the runDisney page, and on the top it's going to say charities and travel. All right, so when I click on here, I'm going to see the charities. I can actually have this click down bar so I can switch which races we're going to do. So we're going to click on Wine and Dine Half Marathon right here. So we're going to see these list of charities. Now, let's just go ahead and, for example, we're going to click on Parent Project MD. It's going to give us Dash. We're going to go through there. It's going to take us to a different link. So I'm going to be able to look at this, register. This is going to be really, really simple. Register as an individual. So here I'm going to be able to see what the registration fee is, how much I'm going to have to pay, and how much I'm going to have to fundraise. So now that we know how we can find charities, now you're going to start looking. Now, all charities can be different. I'd say most charities can be different. So for example, let's start off with the first one, fundraising. All right, so some charities might be X amount of dollars. Some might be X plus 20%. Some might be X plus 50%. So you got to start looking at this. What is your fundraising? But here goes a kicker. Some of them might be X plus 50%, but that might include the race registration in that price. It might be that you have X, but X does not include the race registration. So you're going to have to register first, and then you're going to have to raise whatever X is. X might be included in it, so that's one of the things that you have to look at. Also, charities do a few things that are behind the scenes that people don't think about. Number one is they give you these cool shirts. So I was able to get one of these cool shirts. I was able to fundraise and I got these cool shirts. Also, I've been invited to dinners, to breakfast. They're there cheering you on. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there that is a part of the price that you're going to be registered, that you're going to be fundraising for. Another thing that you're going to ask is how much, not only how much are you going to be able to fundraise, but is there going to be hard caps? And is going to be one hard cap, or is there going to be several hard caps? For example, if you gotta raise $1,000, some of them might say by this date you have to have 25%. By this date you have to have 50%. By this date you have to have 75%, or they'll say can drop you. So you have to talk to them to find out what, they had hard caps, or if it's at one date you're gonna have it all and there's nothing before that, that's up to the charity. So go ahead and ask the charity, do something that you're comfortable with. And speaking about comfortable, you saw the list of charities, and there's quite a bit of them. Now, I'm gonna track back a little bit. Not all charities will run all races, so that's one of the things you have to look at. So now let's look at the charities. So if you are involved already because you have a family member, you have a friend, close friend, you have some kind of tie with something that you want to raise funds for, go ahead and take a look at those. If not, I would really suggest doing what I did. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience. When I reached out to Parent Project MD, I asked them a simple question. I said, hey, can I interact with people who are affected by this? Because I had never even heard of Duchenne's muscular dystrophy up until then. They were great. They were fantastic. They gave me a few names. I ended up reaching out to them. I ended up actually talking to some of them on the phone. And then I took it even a step further, which was awesome. I was able to meet a family out there at Disney World that was affected by this. So I got to experience them just going to the parks. It's a very humbling experience. When you do this, I decided to spend about an hour and a half with them. I've actually, since then, I've spent another day, a part of a day with them. It is really, really fantastic just being around it, understanding what you're raising money for. It gives you that connection. And so you're again, it's just so awesome to feel it, to understand what's going on, and to be able to understand that you're helping these people and these families. Because even if it's just one member of the family that is affected, the whole family is affected. And that's one of the things I learned. And it is just a great, humbling experience. And it's something that I would really recommend that everybody that is raising money for a charity does. So another question that's going to be asked is, when do I get my bib from the charity? Do I get it as soon as I pay for the raise, or is it going to be after I cross some fundraising goals? When do I get the bib? Is it towards the end? So when do I get the bib? The answer is it really depends on the charity. That's one of those list of questions, and I would really recommend you make a list of questions and ask them before. When do I get the bib, or when should I expect to get the bib? And actually ask for a timeline. So like, would it be this range within this 30, 60 days? So that way I know what to expect. I have never ever not gotten that link. And so as a matter of fact, I just got the link for Springtime Surprise, and I'll go over that one in a little bit. But go ahead and ask the questions. So here goes an important question you can ask just in case you are a little bit cautious about signing up through a charity because you got to do the fundraising. Something comes up, life happens. Ask them if it is transferable. Now here goes the deal, because I was just talking about getting the link. From my understanding, and I think I'm right, I'm not sure if I'm 100% right, but I think I'm at least partially right. That bib has not been attached to any person. Once it's attached to a person, then it's non-transferable. So if you are going through your fundraising and all of a sudden you get to 25% and you realize I am not going to be able to make this, you can contact the charity and it may be able to be transferable to somebody who could get it. So that is something that's an advantage of getting a charity bib. But again, I'm not 100% sure. That's something that you would ask the charity themselves. Say, hey, if I don't get to this goal by this time, can I transfer it over to somebody else? And I believe the answer is yes, because again, once I get the link, what happens is I click on the link and it's going to take me, I'm going to sign into my account, and it's going to give me all my information, and I'm going to use that bib. So that bib is now mine. Once I click on purchase, because it's going to be zero because you've already purchased it, so it's not going to, it's already paid for. So once you purchase it, it's yours. You are there. You can no longer transfer the bib. But that at least gives you an idea of maybe you could do something with that bib in case something comes up, in case of an emergency. So how can I raise money? What is some good ideas about fundraising? And part of the answer is really it's up to you, because what I would look at is what are your strengths? What can you do very well? And is there any way you can incorporate that into raising some funds? For example, if you're a teacher, you teach math, maybe take up a part-time job doing some tutoring on the side, and you could raise those funds right there so you can actually have them pay directly, or they can pay you and then you put in those funds. But I've done that in the past. That's really helped me out. I've taken these side jobs and I'm able to raise some funds. Another suggestion that I have, and again, this is just a suggestion. Some of you guys might not need it. Some of this might even be better. So people get to the point where they said, maybe I can ask, let's say I'm going to raise $1,000. What if I can ask 10 people to give a $100 donation? And a lot of times you ask, and you've asked 20, 30, 40 people, and they say, no, I don't have $100, I don't have $100. Then all of a sudden you only have one, maybe two. And so all of a sudden, it's really, it's a place where you just sit there and going like, man, I'm just frustrated because I thought that I would going to have this. I thought it was going to be easy. Maybe take a different approach and sit there and say, alrighty, what if I ask, 100 people to donate $5? And so a lot of people are going to be going like, oh, that's just a cup of coffee. I'll skip a cup of coffee. I'll give you the $5. So all of a sudden you have $500 there. Another thing that you can do is give them something tangible. For example, let's just take that coffee again. So you get like a $25 gift card to Starbucks or something local, something that you could do locally, a local coffee shop or something like that. And what you can do is say anybody gives $10 automatically gets, one. They submit one piece of paper that's going to have their name on it. So we're going to do a drawing, and so we're going to have 50 people get it. So that's again $500 right there. You do that. That's $25 out of pocket. So $475 that you net. So that's right in there. So if that's the case, you're almost halfway through your goal. If it's $1,000, but you can also think in terms of short little minute $5, $10 instead of people donating 50, 100 plus dollars. So that's another way of looking at it. Another way is asking businesses. Please feel free to approach businesses, especially if you can give them the paperwork that says this is tax free, or they can get a tax break. A lot of the businesses, they like to do this, and they have money in the budget. They got to do this in order to meet some tax needs. So it helps them in their financials. So just go and ask them if they do any kind of matching, ask them. And don't be afraid to ask any big businesses. You're more than likely, especially the bigger the businesses, you're going to have to show them paperwork. You're not going to be able to just say, hey, can I raise money? And they're going to say, sure, whatever, just let us know. A lot of, especially the bigger ones, are now going to ask for paperwork, and that's okay. Your charity should work with you with that, and so they'll be able to give you the paperwork that you can hand to them. I've done that before in the past. I've actually reached out to like Walmart. Walmart did a good job of helping me. They matched a certain amount, so I was able to get a good chunk right there. Another idea is just getting rid of stuff. If you do some spring cleaning, and in this scenario it's going to be fall cleaning, so you're going to be doing some fall cleaning, and you're going to find all these little gadgets that you bought that you no longer use. I've actually found drawers when it was full of stuff that I bought at Disney, runDisney, so forth, so on. I just put them up on eBay. You put them up on the Facebook marketplace. Just your friends and family. Just ask around. A lot of people will buy them, and little by little, you might raise a couple $100, maybe even more than that, and you can use that money to fundraise. So the last one is ideas that I'm going to throw right back at you, which means just be creative. Be as creative as you can. So I have already raised my goals, so I'm already at goals, but there's some friends of mine who have not reached their goals. So they've been reaching out to me, so what can we do? So I thought of a great idea that we're going to be able to do. Actually, it should be, if everything goes right, November the 1st. So November the 1st, after the 5K, we are going to, if everything falls in place, we are going to be going to the Extinction and Extermination Tour of 2024. So what that means is we're going to be meeting at Animal Kingdom, and there is 3 rides and attractions, whichever one you want to call them, 3 ride attractions that are going away. I think they're going to be going away in phases. So it's going to be Triceratops Spins, Dinosaur, and It's Tough to Be a Bug. So the goal is to get there by about 9, maybe even a little bit earlier, and we are going to take turns. We're gonna find out a formula. This is going to be better formula that I'm talking about right now. But we're going to be going on those 3 rides all day long until the park closes. The park usually closes at about 6 o'clock. So we're going to be there till 6 o'clock. After that, go back to our hotels because we're going to have to get up and run the 10K. But anybody who wants to join us, what I want to do is make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to reach out to the charities and I'm going to say, hey, can you put this on your webpage so that people can be watching? I'm going to try to go on YouTube Live. I've never done that, but I'm going to try to get on YouTube Live throughout the day to update. So people that make donations, if they want to see certain things, they want to experience stuff, I can record it, put it on a future video, or do it live so that you guys get to experience the extinction and the extermination of parts of Animal Kingdom. So with that said, if you want to join us, please reach out to me. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. You can put it on your social media page once we get the ideas. I'm looking at having some shirts made, so we're going to be able to do that. If you are a charity, I know some charities out there look at this channel. If you're a charity out there and you want people to help out, then contact me directly and I will be able to promote your charity also. Send me a shirt, send me something. I'm going to be switching out throughout the day, but obviously I'm going to be wearing one of the shirts that I make, but I can switch them out throughout the day so we can get on there. But this is my way of trying to give back and trying to help. I think it's a great idea. I like to make it as big as possible with just, but also keeping it real. So with that, guys, you know, the charities are really, really important to me, and this isn't just one of them. I've actually also been, I've interacted with Kelsey's Hope for a long time, and what I also invite you to do is look at the backstories, read the backstories of why these were started. They are heartbreaking on one side. They're inspirational on the other side. The Kelsey's Hope people are just fantastic. I saw them all the time cheering me on the course, stopped, started chit-chatting with them, and decided to raise some funds for them also. They are great, fantastic people. They're out there, and if you notice, again, they cheer for everybody. So if you're out there, you know, if you don't believe me, go ahead and run the Wine and Dine. If you're running Wine and Dine, and you're going to see them, they're going to be wearing yellow shirts, and they will be giving everybody high five. They will be cheering on Perfect Strangers. So again, this is my experiences with the charities. I think they're great. They're fantastic. A way of giving back, a way to feeling connected, a little bit more connection to people out there, other runners, athletes with disabilities, just a runDisney community, just a running community. So one last thing before I go, ironically enough, as I was working on this video, I got a notice from Nicole at Parent Project MD, and she stated that they still have bibs left for the Wine and Dine, including one challenge bib and a few 5K bibs. I know that's the most popular one. So I'm going to put the link down below. All you got to do is email her and let her know that Manny sent you. And apparently, from what she said, they might even give you a little bit of a discount when it comes to the fundraising, since it's getting closer to the date. So go ahead and reach out to Nicole if you want to run Wine and Dine, didn't get through Telegram or X. Just message her down below, the email down below, and let her know Manny sent you. So with that said, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to run with a charity? Have you run with a charity? What has been your experience? Please comment down below. Reach out to me with any questions. Without further ado, I am going to wish you a magical day, wish you a magical run, and guys, see you sooner than later.